Hey everyone, it is Dave. Welcome in. It's time to talk about module number 4. Module 4 marks the halfway point in the course, and it is also the week of our midterm exam. We do have a midterm that covers modules 1 through 3. The midterm does need to be completed by the 20th of April, and that is a hard deadline, so please make sure it's done by then. We also have to submit the journals, numbers 1 through 6. That is due on the 20th. I do have some flexibility with that as long as you turn them in by the 27th. I will not mark anything down against that. So there is a little bit of a grace period for the journals. And don't forget that the discussion board on art theft needs a reply by the 20th as well. Module 4 also marks a very nice clean break in between our study of art. So anything from modules 1 through 3 is looked at as very traditional. And anything from modules 5 through 8, that's going to be modern art or art of the avant-garde. Anything from module 5 through 8, that's the material that you'll find on the final exam. I will never cover anything from modules 1 through 3 on the final. Okay, so it's two very distinct exams. But let's go ahead. We'll walk over to the Canvas site. I'll walk you through module number 4. All right, here we are on the Canvas site. Module 4 here up at the very top has the video you're watching, the introduction, just reminding you our action plan for the week, my office hours on Wednesday from 3 to 7 p.m. I do have an optional lecture if you're interested. I taught college success classes for 7 years, and one of the lectures I gave in those classes was how to go about taking an exam, which I provide a whole bunch of tips and techniques about taking exams that will hopefully help you in your academic career. So if you're interested in that material, I have it here for you. And also, if we were in a regular in-person class, I would have had us break into groups and fill out the worksheet. Again, just some of the things you should kind of consider when you're taking the exam. I know our lives are always so busy and we just go from project to lecture to exam and so on. This makes us take a step back and really kind of examine how we take exams. And I think it's very, very helpful. Our journals are submitted here. We submit journals twice a semester. So this is journals 1 through 6. And in module 8, we will turn in journals 7 through 12. So all you have to do is, you'll have a submit button in the upper right hand corner and you'll just drop in the files, or you can drop one giant file in. It doesn't matter. All the journals here are linked, so if there's one that you're missing, this will take you right to that. Keep in mind they are due on the 20th. However, I have some flexibility, so if you want to turn it in up until the 27th, there are no points marked down for that. Please double space all your typing. I can see if the movie guide may be difficult to do that. Don't worry about the movie guide as far as double spacing, but everything else should be that standard college format. 10 to 12 point font, and please left justify. I know sometimes it looks really good when you center all the writing, but it's really a pain to read, especially when you're reading hundreds of these. Please submit as either Word docs, PDFs, or JPEGs, particularly for journal number 3. JPEGs are totally fine. And each of these journals is worth 5 points, so a total of 30 points. For the exam does have to be completed this week. You have until the 20th. I usually recommend taking it a little bit earlier than waiting until last minute because there's always issues, with internet connections and the slowness of Canvas and things like that. So you don't want to wait until Sunday evening and then end up having difficulty with the exam. Take it as early as you can, and keep in mind it covers modules 1 through 3. So if there is a lecture or two that you're behind, make sure to catch up on that, of course, before taking the exam. We'll click right into it. The exam is 60 questions. Each of them are worth 2 points, and you have 60 minutes. So that's 1 minute per question to keep you, kind of on pace. My average class finishes at about 45 minutes. There's no essays or short answers or anything like that you're doing. This is only multiple choice. And we'll go ahead and go to the first question. So it deals with the roles of the artist, but I just wanted to show you the format. There only is going to be one image on the screen at a time. It'll usually be accompanied with a picture. And once you click the answer you think is correct, you can go to the next button. But you can also, and you can see once I click one of the answers, there'll be a check mark next to the question here. But you can jump around. If there's questions that are too difficult, pass those up. Don't waste time on difficult questions. What I would do when I took like professional exams for my licenses, I would go ahead, go one pass for all the easy questions that I could answer in seconds, and then do a second round, and then go back to those questions that are so difficult and kind of guess on those. That's the best thing to do. You can see the clock down here. We've already spent a minute on the exam, but we had plenty of time to look at it, read the question, look at the answers, and once this gets down to about 5 minutes, it'll start blinking. So I think that is everything I need to tell you about the exam. I will be back next week to tell you about Module 5, but one more thing I did want to mention. No matter how good or how poorly you end up doing on the exam, it's really important to continue with the class, continue with the assignments, as they make a really big difference in the overall points of the course. I know that it's weird being in a 4-week or a 8-week class, and some of the projects have an extra week of grace, so they get graded once the window closes, and there's only a couple things graded at this point. But keep in mind, you'll have the art theft discussion board to be graded, the museum project, the journals, and then we go on to the second half of the class. So there are plenty of points to pass this class, and that is the overall goal. Doesn't matter how great you do, A's, B's, C's, you just want to get into one of those 3 categories. No one's going to ask you your grade 10 years from now. How did you do in Art 5? So with that, I will see you all shortly with Module 5.